party and its leadership and the trade unions, the two biggest trade unions. There are some smaller unions like the chemistry workers unions. This is traditionally the right-wing union, and a lot of leading social democrats proclaim, I leave IG Metall, I leave Verdi, they are fighting against us, but I've become a member of the chemistry workers union. So it's not so fascist, but it's sometimes they are very near to it. I speak of the union now. This is a kind of union which is a sort of department of the organization of the managers. They are sometimes successful, but that's no change. And in when there was a breakup of this so far privileged position, privileged relationship, a group of trade unionists, members of the Social Democratic Party in the West, said, now we must form our own party. And then they built this small group, and they prepared the elections of 2005. It was the election of 2005. And then Oscar Lafontaine joined them in the West. And this is also very important. I don't know if we can know any country where Oscar Lafontaine was the president of the German Social Democratic Party in the 80s and the 90s. And he was candidate for chancellorship in the elections in the early 90s, and they said they didn't like him in the East because he was quite realistic and skeptical about Helmut Kohl, who said, we make flowering landscapes in the East within a few years and we pay just from little costs, etc., etc. And Lafontaine said, the way you do unification is false. But what Helmut Kohl did to win the election in the early 90s, he introduced the D-Mark into the GDR and made the people in the GDR for a moment very rich. They could buy a car, etc. For a moment they became very rich. But shortly afterwards they became unemployed. So of course these are separate problems from this. But Oscar Lafontaine was the candidate for chancellor. He was the president of the party, and he became not candidate for chancellorship because they had a vote in the party if Schröder or Lafontaine should become the candidate, and they both were presenting themselves to the public. I think there was a famous meeting. They say no paper can come between us, so we are so close together. And then Lafontaine, Schröder became chancellor, Lafontaine became secretary or minister of finance and economy, and he resigned after a few months, and resigned from everything, leadership of the party and his job as a minister. And a lot of rumor was about this, because he didn't explain himself. He only said, Schröder and me, we have different opinions about how to manage the economy. What we know and what Oscar Lafontaine confirms was he had the plan together with the socialist finance minister in France at this time. I always have forgotten his name. He's now, I think, the first leading man in the World Bank.
Strauss-Kahn.
Eh? Strauss-Kahn. Strauss-Kahn, yes, Strauss-Kahn. They had published a common paper, and they said we want to impose regulation on the more regulation on the European banking system. That's what they wanted, a more regulated financial market within the European Union. And obviously Schröder got under pressure from the banks, especially from London and the financial places, and he said, no, we won't do this. So, but for many social democrats, and even social democrats which I know personally, who are not bad guys, let's say it like this, they say, never will I have something to do with your party because you have this Lafontaine. He's a traitor, he left. You couldn't do this, leave a party when you are the president of the party, etc., etc. That's not really a big party. So it's, but from 1999, the Social Democratic Party, that was the beginning of the Yugoslav war. The Social Democratic Party up to now lost about 300 members, 300,000 members. It lost 10 elections in sequence. And this was the reaction to the politics of the party in government. And so there was a wave of protest. And if you analyze the results for the social democracy in the elections of the past years, participation in elections has significantly dropped. It's from 65, about this, below 70%. But if you analyze the districts and the social map of the big cities, it's very clear in the working class districts of Hamburg, in the North Rhine-Westphalia region, in the big old cities, Essen, Gelsenkirchen, etc., with high unemployment rates, you have participation rates, it's like in the United States, below 50%. And in the bourgeois sectors, you have a participation of 80%. The world conservatives and the social democrats are going down. So these transformations contributed to the situation and the climate, the social climate in Germany, which was and still is favorable to the new party. There is, in general, a deep feeling in Germany, I think in other countries too, that now, even under the condition of the boom of the past 2 years, we would say this, the economic boom of the past 2 years, there is a scandalous social injustice in society and in politics. And a lot of events happen which confirm people that the polarization between rich and poor is stronger. We talk about children poverty. We talk about programmed poverty by the reform of the pension systems, of poverty for the older people in 20 years or 30 years. You can just count it. It's very easy to find out what's happened. So there's a deep feeling of social injustice. And at the same time, there is a feeling that democracy is not working as articulating the will and the interest of the people. There was a Gallup poll, which was quoted in an article by a social democrat, comparing different countries, and they put the question, do you think that in your country the government is a government of the people, is in the interest of the people? And they started, I think, in Britain with about 30% answering yes. It went down in the 20s, France and Italy, and in Germany it was 18% who said yes. This government is a government in the interest of the people. So this is a kind of a general atmosphere. Now, to come to the final part, I would like